Welcome to March. Hope you guys had a great February. So really quickly, I'll let you guys know, I just saw an orb shoot by. So that's great because there's another one. I've been calling on a lot of spirit guides for March because March has been already amazing in comparison to February. February, that was brutal. I don't know how you guys, how that happened with you guys, but my Venus is in Virgo, and it was intense. So February was the eclipse season, which opened up a vortex into kind of this unseen world, this fifth dimension that everybody has been talking about. And you can definitely see a shift in people in the world who you're talking to. People definitely seem lighter, more free, more open and compassionate, more loving, and starting to really realize that they're awakening to the fact that they're creating their own world. You know, I have a Moon in Virgo father-in-law who's, you know, had the best financial year of his entire working life, yet still there's still some doubt there. It's like things are going really well, but because things are going so well, there must be something, you know, in the water, something that isn't 100%. It's not true. Life is great. Life is really, really good. And I know that you guys might not believe that because for so long life wasn't so good. It's almost like, well, what's the catch? What's the ulterior motive? But it's this shift, this eclipse that came in that is just kind of situated everything back to how it's supposed to be. Kind of that, okay, the fine tuning. So the full moon and the lunar eclipse in Leo was that dramatic release of emotions that we all desperately needed. Between, you know, the common consciousness of the world, we just needed this dramatic and intense and powerful, beautiful, fiery release, which is what we absolutely got. It might have been crazy drama, but we saw true colors. We got to see who we truly were. We got to get in touch with ourselves. We gave ourselves attention. We saw people, the attention seeking in our lives, you know, the attention seeking in relationships and the people around us. We got to really see that in a very dramatic way. It was almost like a theater production of seeing the true characters in our lives, and we started to realize who we are. What character do we play in our lives? Are we even the main character of our own stories? A lot of the times, you know, Virgos they're such the servers, they're such the workers that it's like, are you even, you know, your main star, or are you just your background character? Are you just the director? Are you just the producer? You know, are you just someone funneling money out to people? Who are you when it comes to this theater production called life? And then we had the solar eclipse in Pisces along with the new moon in Pisces. So the solar eclipse is a turbocharged new moon. And the new moon is all about bringing in what we want for ourselves, what we want out of life. And when that is filtered through the Pisces lens, it's very compassionate, it's very generous, it's very chameleon, very shape-shifting. Pisces is all about the unseen world, the subconscious mind. Pisces, when you meet a Pisces, they mesh and adapt to the situation. And that's really what is needed right now. We needed a dramatic release with Leo, and then we needed that mutable adjustment into this new form of life, this new earth that is coming into our worlds now. Okay, so that's what was going on in February. March, we have a Venus retrograde coming up on Saturday. Venus retrograde is all about that stuff that we left in the past when it comes to relationships, when it comes to love, when it comes to finance, when it comes to beauty. Everything that we've tucked back away, guess what? It's coming back up. So you're going to have, you know, past relationships, past lovers. I've been dreaming of exes like crazy, so I'm sure, even if I'm not going to run into an ex, I'm running into them with my husband in my dreams. And like, that's even awkward in my dreams. So I can only imagine what it would be like in real life. So be prepared. A lot of lovers coming in, a lot of exes coming back in. I urge you guys to just wait until April 15th before you make any concrete decisions when it comes to love, especially with these exes. Wait until at least April 15th. Personally, I got married during a Venus retrograde, so the Venus retrograde has I'm already feeling it in my relationship now, and it doesn't even hit until Saturday. But because I got married during a Venus retrograde, it was, you know, a lot of, during the Venus retrograde, let's just say that during our wedding, we had a lot of guests that brought their exes, and they're no longer with them anymore. Like, that's one way how the Venus retrograde could play out, you know, in my life, that's how it played out. I'll let you know how it's playing out, because this is the first Venus retrograde since I was married, because it goes retrograde every about 2 years. So I'll let you guys know how this Venus retrograde plays out in my relationship from being married during the Venus retrograde, okay? So now, getting started, now that we got all that paperwork, all that foundational work situated, I'm just going to, okay, you guys had a card pop out. It's the Knight of Pentacles. So definitely some stagnation when it comes to finances, not so much forward movement, still building the blocks of finances when it comes to the Virgo for March. More of a firmer grasp than the Leo when it comes to your finances. Definitely seeing more of the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to your finances. Not so much of a battle, you know, it's not so blinding as it possibly could be. But it's not so much of a fight for your finances. Now you're finally sort of, okay, I can chill here for a little bit because I'm starting to really realize the growth and the support that I have at home with either a partner or, you know, whoever you're splitting your finances with. Okay. So Virgo, your card for, sorry, this doesn't necessarily feel too good. I'm just gonna, okay. Feels a little bit better. Okay, balance is your key here. Really getting that balance. So like I said, more of a stagnation when it comes to your finances. You're finally able to kind of chill on it and realize, okay, this is what my financial outlook is looking for. I'm sorry. So your situation for March for Virgos is the Hanged Man. So it's also in reverse, which is interesting because I don't get a lot of reversals. And this Hanged Man in reverse is now upright, but he's doing a balancing act. So he's standing on his tippy toes, and his hair is like an electric shock. So maybe something new coming in that keeps you on your toes, that really shocks you into submission, something that you kind of need to take a lean back on, maybe be more firm rooted when it comes to I'm not doing this. And this is more of a 4 because when it's upside down, it's the inverted 4, but this is an actual 4 here. It's backwards, but it's still a 4. So 4 is all about building. It's all about foundational work. It's all about planning. It's not so much about moving, but because it's backwards, you can start to understand that, like, the way that I read cards can be extremely literal, especially when it comes to talking to Virgos who are very analytical. You guys are extremely analytical. So from an analytical and logical perspective, this is a hanged man who's standing upwards and his legs are making the 4 but backwards, and 4 is about foundational work. So when you think about backwards 4, it's all about the work that you've done in the past. It's all the foundational work that you've done in the past, and now you're kind of hands on your hips, ready to say, this is what I've done in the past, so this is how I'm going to keep doing it. And it's really shocking other people. It's shocking them into submission. It's shocking you. It's really like a light bulb has gone off in your head where it's like, this is how I've done it in the past. This is how I've built my life, and this is how I'm going to keep going, okay? So that is really keeping you on your toes this month, is really that firm root of telling people, this is how I've done it, and this is how I'm going to continue to do it. So that's really shocking to some people around you. It's shocking yourself for sure. So keep that in mind when you're going forward. It's also a 12 card, which is all about the unseen world, all about your subconscious. So I'm wondering if maybe what it is you're stagnated with your finances because subconsciously you're telling yourself that, well, this is how I've done it in the past, and this is how it's always worked, and I'm not going to make any changes. This has kept me on my toes. This has kept me, you know, not grounded, but rooted. It's kept me on my toes in the aspect where, you know, you feel like it's more of a dance when it comes to your finances as opposed to more of not not stagnant, but it's more of like, you know, dancing around your finances, moving this here, moving that here, and now finally you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel because this is how you've done in the past. So an obstacle and an aid is putting some ships out, is to make a little bit of a change, is to get more of a cultural perspective on your empowerment and on your finances and on your relationship, and really realize that maybe it's time to put out something different. Just because it might have worked in the past, like I just started saying with the eclipses, things are changing. Things aren't the same as they used to be. You know, I was just talking to a Virgo yesterday, and they're talking about a book that they wanted to put out, and they're like, well, I wrote it 10 years ago, and back then it this, that, and I'm just like, girlfriend, like, this is the new age. Like, get your book online. You don't need, it doesn't have to be a hardcover. It doesn't have to be a soft cover. It could be an ebook. Like, this is the new age. It's time to really take a look around and realize that maybe something that worked for you in the past isn't going to work for you now because things are changing. And it's almost time that you have to change with them and put out some new positive energy, put out some innovative energy, put something new out there, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to keep up with the newness of the world. Subconsciously, there's some heartbreak there, and it involves 3 people. You know, hard to find the optimism, hard to find the creativity aspect, and that's what I'm talking about when I say putting things out there. Get creative. Imagination is way more powerful than knowledge. You know, really start to create with your mind. What do you want out of your life? What do you want when it comes to your finances, your financial situation, you know, your relationship, your home life, your work life? Start creating it. My Virgo mom is waiting for retirement in 8 years because she can't create the work, not the work life, but the commute. That's what's really killing her, is the commute. So it's almost like, instead of realizing, okay, well, in 8 years, like, I don't have to commute anymore, why not manifest and create that you love your commute? That every time you go on a commute, something great happens to you. All channels of good are open to you, where that commute could be, you know, a meditative state that gets you the idea that's going to allow you to make, you know, that financial portfolio, that financial bang that you don't need to retire. You know, maybe, who knows? Like, the world is, the options and the opportunities are completely endless. So instead of focusing on the heartbreak of the situation as it stands right now, it's time to start creating. It's time to let go. Use that pain to create. Use that pain to motivate you to do something more and bigger than yourself, okay? Thinking that you have to rush into things, thinking that that the only way that you can transform and make progress is if it's chaotic, as if it's, you know, this quick burst of energy. Not true. Not true at all. Slow and steady wins the race. It doesn't have to be, you know, like I said, the Hanged Man in reverse, you know, very happy to stand still, but because it's reversed, it's more of a leaning up against something. It's more like I'm teetering, I'm standing on tippy toes, I'm not even completely stabilized, but I'm okay like this. Like, is that comfortable for you guys? Being so rooted in your past beliefs and your past limitations, is that really helping you guys? Or is it time to really put out, you know, positive energy, positive thoughts, and creative and positive energy, so that you can start to see and manifest from a pure place this abundance that is just waiting to be given to you guys? So something that would have just passed is that emotional well-being, that financial well-being, that emotional abundance, like that I was talking about. You're feeling that maybe that has come to an end, feeling like you can't get your emotional cup filled, feeling just completely drained when it comes to life and thoughts and actions and finances and emotions and words, just feeling drained in all those aspects, feeling like there's not enough balance in your life. And that's really what this reading is calling out, is that it's time for Virgos to find their balance. Take it from the Libras and try and find balance, because in my opinion, as a Libra, if I wasn't happy with my commute, if I wasn't happy at work, if I wasn't happy in a relationship, everything else suffers. When I wasn't happy in my last job, I came home and I just crashed on the couch and watched TV. So that means that housework wasn't getting done. I wasn't cooking dinner, so I wasn't eating healthy meals. I was just eating out. So my health started to diminish because I was binge watching, Netflix. My relationship started to diminish, and just everything went downhill because I couldn't find that balance. I was so off kilter. So it's time to really take some advice from the Libras and try and find balance in every area of your life. If work is taking up too much of your time so that you can't, cook at home, it's time to try and to work some things around. Whatever you can do, a lot of the times it just comes with your thought process first, because if you change your thought process into, I'm happy about my work, I love my job, you're going to automatically empower yourself. For instance, if the commute is taking up too much of your time so that you can't cook at home, if you're telling yourself every day that I love my commute, good things happen on my commute, you're gonna start planning your meals. You're not gonna be able to be happy in one area of your life and not radiate it out to other parts. Just like you can't be unhappy in one area of your life without it spilling out into other areas. Okay, so future card. Another moving away from hard times. Hard times are definitely behind you as long as you get more focused on your thoughts, more recognition in the fact that, like I said, imagination is more powerful than knowledge, and a lot of, releasing this emotional injury, this thought injury that's in your subconscious mind right now that you feel is thwarting your creative energy, okay? So it's time to really move away from that idea that, you don't have any creative energy left, that you can't create, that you can't imagine, that you can't manifest, because you absolutely can, of course. So you right now are juggling your finances, like usual, Virgo. Like usual. I'm sorry, but I am, like I said, Venus Virgo. My husband is Virgo moon with his Virgo ascendant. My mom's a Virgo with a Virgo moon. My father-in-law is a Virgo moon. My brother-in-law has his Venus in Virgo. And the commonality with all those Virgos is the way that they talk about their finances. And it's always coming from a critical, negative, I don't have enough. My father-in-law the other day said, I'm only going to get a $3,000 tax return, but that's all going to my boat and my new couch. And I'm looking at him like, okay, you're complaining that your giant tax return is only going to your luxuries. It's when we start to criticize things like that, we don't empower ourselves. It's not coming from a grateful place. Be grateful for what you already have. And then guess what? You'll get more. It's really just acknowledging that you have more than enough. Rhonda Byrne with her magic book that just was transformative, what she had us do is to go and grab old bill payments, bills that you've already paid for, and just stamp all over this bill that you've already paid for, thank you for the money that I had to pay for this bill. Like, you need to acknowledge that you've always had the money in the past. Think of it, you wouldn't be where you are now if you didn't have money in the past to do it. Another thing to recognize is that, in this society, we get our services and then we pay for them. So realistically, you haven't even paid for your internet and your cable and your phone, but our society trusts that you're going to pay. That is such a luxury. That is such something to be so grateful for. In other countries, if you don't have the money, you don't eat that day. You don't get internet, cable, phone bill. Are you kidding me? We have so much to be grateful for that it's almost completely disrespectful to be complaining about the finances that you have, because it's already so much. It's already so much. You were completely supported financially, 100%. Like I said, I think I told the Cancers as well, just try this for 30 days. I'll touch back with you guys in April. Please, I'm urging you guys, just write 10 things a day in the morning that you paid for, that you're grateful for. Even if it's that cup of coffee that you buy every day. Like, that's some people's meals in other parts of the world. Like, come on, we need to be more grateful, I think. I think that's definitely the key for March, is just to be grateful for what you already have. Financially, juggling, no offense, but nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear about how much you guys are you know, balancing and juggling your finances, because it's like, come on. You know, you should have already figured out by now. Virgos are the workers of the zodiac, and if you guys are working your ass off, yet still juggling your finances, then that's on you. It's not fair to go and put that pressure and put that worry and put that complaint on someone else, because you work hard, you know you work hard, you get paid for the work that you do. So, you know, I'm sorry to say it, but you have more than enough. And if you keep talking and thinking that you don't have enough, that's exactly what the universe is going to reward you with. More things to worry about. And like, I apologize if that's harsh and brutal, but like, I'm at the point now where I'm getting frustrated with the Virgos around me. I'm getting frustrated with my own mind state when it comes to finances, because come on, Ness, like, we are just so blessed. We're so blessed. So family and friends, they are doing just fine. They're really kind of more on a pedestal, it seems. Maybe you're looking at your family and friends and internally you're feeling like you have to compete with them, feeling like they're doing way better than you are. Not true. Everybody who does well lifts up the people around them. So do yourself a favor and be that person to lift up other people, lift up your family and friends. If you feel like you're putting them on a pedestal, step up with them. You have the power and the control to empower yourself to step up with them. Put yourself on that pedestal. Maybe take a look at your life from an outside looking in. Like I said, my father-in-law with his moon in Virgo, you know, he looks like a millionaire from the outside. He's got a beautiful home. He's got a boat. Like, he's got, you know, beautiful stuff inside his home. He looks like a freaking millionaire from the outside, but he hasn't put himself up on that pedestal to be like, I am so blessed. Look what I have. It's, oh, I work. Blah, blah, blah. Like, more to life. So, hope and fear. You know, this is very interesting to pull this card because it just rings so true. So, this King of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, the authority, the person who has his finances all figured out, who's highly decorated, who's highly admired, who, I don't want to say it, but can look down at other people with their petty resources because you are so confident with what you have that it's almost like you can walk on others because you have so much. You hope for it, but you also fear for it. What would it mean, Virgo, if you won that lottery, if you had $1 million, if all your finances were written out? No offense, but what would you have to complain about? What would you have to talk about if you weren't worrying about your finances? Because to be honest with you, Virgos that I talk to, it's all about money. So if they were rich, what would you guys talk about? So recognize that you fear the richness, you fear, you know, that stability, and you hope for it as well. So which one is it? It's time to really release that fear and recognize that you want to be successful. Of course you do. Of course, you guys work hard for your money, so it's almost like, when can I get it? Oh, I'm rambling. Sorry, Virgos. I don't know what it is, but I always feel like I lecture the Virgos. Like, my father-in-law, when I was hanging out with him, it was just like lecture, lecture, lecture. I'm so sorry if it comes across as that. A lot of the times I do readings, and I'm actually speaking to myself. Like I said, Venus in Virgo, so I definitely resonate a lot with the Virgos. So if I'm hammering in to you guys too hard, it's because it's something that I need to hear myself. So please bear with me. Future card, final card of the spread is that everything changes. You know, it's time to move on from that sense of financial worry and start to have more balance in your life. And once you can get your thoughts in a better place when it comes to your finances, when it comes to where you are in your life, once you can get those chaotic thoughts and just kind of get yourself more focused, meditation helps beautifully when it comes to getting yourself more focused. Purify your thoughts. Once you can really pinpoint your thoughts into positivity, into abundance and prosperity, you'll start to move away from that financial hardship, and you'll guaranteed stop worrying about finances. It's really about changing your thoughts. Like, I'm urging everybody this month especially to start using their thoughts for good, because there is more than enough. There is way more than enough. The universe has blessed us. God, the creator, source, whatever your understanding of is when it comes to the higher self, the highest good, we're completely blessed. It's really just opening yourself up to receiving it. You know, convince yourself on every day in the morning after you write down the 10 things that you're grateful for, convince yourself that you are a sponge. You are an open channel for goodness. Only goodness comes in. You put a pink bubble around you. This is what I've been doing, and it's been working beautifully. Before you leave the house, envision a pink bubble around you, and only love can go out and only love can come in. There's no, you can't even see the negativity. So keep that pink bubble around you day in and day out. And I promise you that by April, we're going to be driving. We're going to feel good. We're going to feel abundant. We're going to feel prosperous. There are so many tools. You know, crystals can help with abundance. Green aventurine, any green stone carried in your left pocket is going to be your lucky stone. That's going to give you tons of abundance, tons of receiving goodness. I think I mentioned before about opening your hand chakra, which is just creating a symbol on your left hand, which is directly connected to your heart. This is your receiving hand. Another superstitious thing that I do all the time is if your left hand gets itchy, that's money coming in, put in your pocket. If your right hand gets itchy, that's money going out, put in your pocket. Like, just try to start to listen to your body, and you'll start to realize that, you know, we live in such an abundant world that there's really no need to complain or to worry about your financial situation or your thoughts or emotions. And if you guys aren't having any financial problems, that's great. That's absolutely beautiful. You finally found the balance. And I really, really hope that the other Virgos in my life can get to that point, because they're driving me crazy. Okay, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for your support. I will talk to you in April. Hope you guys have an amazing, amazing March. Love you guys and stay blessed. Bye.